How you doing, Ray?
I'm alright, how you doing?
Thank God for life, brother.
Yeah.
Right? How old are you?
I'm 32 in about a week,
Oh, when is that?
February 4th.
Okay, all right. Happy birthday in advance.
Thank you.
Hopefully I'll come out here on that day and we could do something nice for you, man. You know?
It'd be great. I haven't celebrated a birthday in years.
I hear you. You're not the only one. Where are you from originally?
I'm from a small town of Coatesville. It's in Chester County.
Oh, okay, I'm familiar with Coatesville. All right.
Yeah.
How long have you been down in the Badlands now?
It's been about 10 years on and off, and I only say on and off because I'll go to jail every once in a while.
Oh, okay, I hear you. Let's go down. Let's do a little throwback. Tell us about your childhood growing up.
You know, seeing where I'm at right now, you probably think that I probably grew up and, you know, drugs, you know, played a big part in my life, and you'd be right, but it wasn't all that bad. Honestly, I couldn't ask for a better childhood. My mom and dad, they provided everything they could for me. You know, they were loving, caring. I always celebrated birthdays. I never went without anything. But my parents always used, and I thought that was normal. You know, my mom and dad, they never used heroin when I was growing up, but they used cocaine and marijuana on a weekly, daily basis. But it wasn't until I got older that opiates played a big role in my life, and I wish I knew then what I know now, because I never would have started.
Let's go in school. Paint us a picture. What was it like in middle school and high school for you?
Well, when I went to school, like I did good. Like I was always sociable, and like learning was never a problem for me. I never really had to pay attention much. I kind of like grasped the concept of everything a lot easier than most kids did, and I was always like praised for my intelligence. But then, I used it for the wrong things when I got older.
Okay. So what was the highest level of education you completed?
I actually dropped out of high school when I went to ninth grade about 3 times, because I went to school, and everybody was good at something, and I adopted like drugs as my personality, and ended up going to ninth grade 3 times, and then I dropped out. But I got my GED when I was in jail, and that's probably my biggest accomplishment to date, other than my son.
Okay, you have one child?
Yeah.
Where is he currently?
He's with his mother. His mom is the woman I met in rehab about 2 years ago, and I had my son within about like a year of meeting her. So it was like immediate.
What was the relationship like between both of you?
Well, her name's Kate. Me and Kate, we met in rehab. She's actually from a different way of life from me. Like, drugs were not something her and her parents did together. She grew up in I would say she's probably middle class too, but like her family came from more money than mine did, and just like the way that they interacted with each other was a lot different than my family.
What led up to both of you guys breaking up?
All right, so we went to rehab. That's where we met. About 7 days after I went into rehab, I actually left, and she came with me. Wasn't for her, I was gonna go right to the street. She took me, she put me in a hotel, and out in like Atlantic City, and then we jumped around from like city to city, from hotel to hotel, because she didn't want to take me home. She didn't want to leave rehab and come home with a heroin addict. Like she actually has a brother who passed away from heroin, and her ex-boyfriend actually died from a heroin overdose as well while they were together. But like, me and her, we were together for a year at first, and it wasn't it wasn't really her fault, you know, the downfall of the relationship at first. I started using immediately when we got out of rehab, and Kate actually paid for my addiction, which, you know, many people would say was enabling, but the way I look at it is it was harm reduction. Without her, I would have did a lot of things that I didn't want to do for money. I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her. Like, I feel that I play a big role in her relapse, because, you know, being with somebody who's using on a daily basis, you know, it's not going to make it too easy for you not to think about what it was like to use and how, you know, drugs sometimes, you know, made life easier.
All right.
Or at least it felt that way.
Got you. So, is your son being well taken care of?
Yeah. If, you know, I don't want to necessarily say that I would be a bad parent, but I can't take care of myself right now. So if it wasn't for Kate, you know, Caden, I'm not sure where he would be.
Right,
but
right.
I'm at least lucky enough to have a child with somebody who's responsible.
Yeah, that's great. So let's talk about your current situation, man. How did you end up in the situation you're in right now?
Well, when I was about 16 years old, I got in trouble with the law for the first time, and I really haven't been away from, you know, jail since. So it's like, when I got in trouble, it made it a lot easier for me to look at drugs as a way out, because then I didn't have to really deal with the fact of being on probation or parole. But I can say that probation and parole probably led me down the path a lot quicker than I would have myself, because when I got put on probation and parole, I couldn't smoke weed anymore, and I started using opiates because they got out of my system quicker, and then that's when I became addicted to them. So right now my situation is I'm on the street because I got high, and then I never, you know, finished my education until later, and then I never got, you know, a career started. I never got like anything. I never did anything for myself because I always had this like probation and parole hanging over my head, and I never felt like I had a future. And like, it made life like not worth living, because like you always felt like you're doing something wrong. You always felt like you don't have a future because you're gonna go to jail. You don't want to get nothing started. You know, it's a shame, because I was punished for my addiction instead of helped, when I should have been, you know, rehabilitated instead of incarcerated.
You speaking facts, and that's the case with a lot of people that's out here.
Yeah.
People don't understand that is deeper than what they think they know.
Yeah, it's not so much that there were bad people. It's just that we were put in a bad position, and we didn't have the encouragement that we needed. Like, we were more or less told we were bad people, or we were doing something wrong, instead of that we were misguided and we needed help.
Facts. So what does a typical day in your life look like?
Man, life right now for me is hell. I don't enjoy it whatsoever. If I'm not already awake from, you know, just the cold or whatever drugs I'm on, waking up, I have to steal at least once or twice a day to support my habit. And that's like, I wouldn't steal from a normal person. I steal from like companies like, you know, Walmart or Rite Aid or, you know, one of the big chains. And then I go and I sell whatever I steal to, you know, a smaller store, and then they can resell it or use it, whatever they want. But my day consists of stealing from a big chain and then selling it and using. And then I repeat that once, twice, 3, 4 times, depending upon my habit at the time. And it's never really like living. I use so I'm not sick, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's the situation with you and
It sucks.
many others. It's got to stay well.
Yep.
So now you're out here currently, what substance are you struggling with?
Right now I struggle with methamphetamines and heroin, but I say heroin, and in reality it's whatever they put inside those bags that I buy.
Do you know what they put inside those bags?
Right now, I hear it's xylazine and fentanyl. And xylazine's a horse tranquilizer that's actually legal. Like I hear they buy it off the internet from like Walmart or one of them companies. And I've actually come across like certain spots in the city where I'll find like empty vials of xylazine, like where they put it together, like where they're bagging up the drugs, and like you read some of the side effects on this stuff, and it's like it's worse than any opiate was. So in reality, you know, the way I look at it, they made actual heroin illegal, and now because of that, we're using a drug that's 10 times more deadly than heroin ever was, and they don't even know the side effects of it yet.
Damn. Yeah, that's dangerous, man.
Yeah.
And it's just getting worse and worse as the year, you know, move up.
Right.
The stronger drugs is gonna come out. Is gonna be more.
It's not
potent.
getting better.
Nah. What do you think is gonna take to solve the drug problem?
I think like you know, if the right person or the right, all right, in life, like people don't pay attention to things unless it grabs them like emotionally, or it like it plays a role in their life that's close enough that they feel that they have to, or else it's gonna, like, you know, hurt them, or, you know, maybe a loved one or something. But like the right person has to really stand up and say something or do something for us, because us as addicts, nobody wants to listen to us, or nobody thinks that we're important enough to really be listened to. A lot of people think that we did this to ourselves, and that we don't care about other people, or we don't care about our way of life. That's not true. It's like you get into a hole and you can't get out, and sometimes it seems like the best way is to just keep going with what you're doing, because if you fight against it, it just makes things so much worse, and then it's like your quality of life gets unlivable. You know, it's like I'm at a point now where, like, I'm not suicidal. I would never want to like hurt myself, but like sometimes it feels like the easiest thing to do would be to give up, because the more and more you fight it, the tougher and tougher it gets. And it's like, you know, you don't want to experience the withdrawal because it's bad, and then it's like, you know, you don't have nobody in your life, you don't have nobody in your corner, and it's like, it just seems like it'd be a lot easier to give up sometimes. And I feel like the right person needs to step in and like change society's view on who we are and what addiction really is, because yeah, we might have made the decision to start using drugs years ago, but it's not really my decision anymore to keep using. And I wish people would really understand that we want to stop. You know, sometimes we get in groups and we talk about it, and like we just want better for ourselves, and I would hate for, you know, the future generations to get caught in the same grip that we are, because, you know, we're not productive out here, and we're not really doing the right thing for ourselves. And I'd hate for, you know, the country, or, you know, the further generations to go down the same path that we did. I want this to be a learning experience for people, and not like a destination for our future.
Damn, brother, you definitely know what you're talking about, and I appreciate you educating us.
Man.
Tell us, how was your first drug experience like?
When I was like 12 years old, I remember stealing weed from my mom and dad and smoking it, and I remember it being fun. You know, like I remember being a kid, and like that not only that like set me apart from everybody else, but it made me who I was, and I liked that back then. Like this drug experience that I have now, like 20 years after using my first drug, is not anything like it was when I was a kid. And it's a shame, because drugs can be like a good thing. They don't have to be negative. You know, there's plenty of medicinal, you know, factors in drugs, and then there's plenty of like psychological things that drugs can help you with. But what's going on right now with this xylazine and the fentanyl, and it's just not it's not drugs. It's more or less like a poison that has taken over and replaced what drugs were.
That's so deep, and that's true. So how do you use your drugs? Do you shoot it?
Yeah, I started out snorting heroin, but right now I'm an IV user, and it's not. It's more. When you go to a hospital, when they want to administer drugs, how do they do it? They do it IV because that's the most efficient way to do it. But right now we're not using. I mean, Prevention Point helps us with clean needles and all that, but we got to shoot up so many times a day, and it's just like, it's not very beneficial for our health to be doing it this way out here with like these conditions and all that. And that's what's mainly gonna hurt us. Like, it's harm reduction was a great thing started by like Prevention Point and other like companies in it. And I wish that like the government and more people would look at it that way, because we're not gonna stop, until we want to. And the best thing that they could do is to like put harm reduction methods out there, because if not, the diseases are gonna get spread and people are gonna die. And just think about, like, if they were hard-headed and they didn't want to do anything to help us, and they didn't make Narcan, how many people would be dead right now? Narcan is made for harm reduction, and I overdosed 23 times personally, and it's hard to think about that, but I could be dead 23 times over if it wasn't for harm reduction.
So what keeps you going every day?
The thought that first it was that I don't believe that my future is supposed to be set on this drug addiction. I don't think that I'm going to die a drug addict. I never thought that. I was always optimistic. But right now, like, my main thing is my son, because the way I grew up, I thought drugs were acceptable, and I don't blame my parents for that, but I don't want my son to grow up thinking that, using is the way of life.
That's awesome. So, how long have you been on drugs now?
It's been 20 years. I started when I was 12. So, like I said, within a week I'll be 32. So it'll be since I first used marijuana, it'll be 20 years. Opiates, I used opiates for the first time when I was 14. I started using Dilaudid and morphine. I didn't even know what it was. Didn't even know what I was getting myself into. But about 6 years after that, I was shooting heroin. Yeah, I remember the first time I took opiates, I remember being sick, like throwing up and not liking it. But heroin, the first time I ever shot heroin, I remember that feeling, and I'll never forget it. It was just an overwhelming warm sensation all over my body, like everything was okay. And that's the one thing about heroin, man. Like, I may be out here, like, look at my condition, like, look at the way I'm living, I'm sleeping, like, I haven't eaten a hot meal in days. Like, I don't even remember. Like, I've been eating tasty cakes and chips and stuff that, that's supposed to sustain my life. But what I was getting at is, no matter what situation I'm in, no matter what's going on, as long as I have that thought that, like, I have a bag of heroin to shoot, like, it makes everything okay. And that's sad, because, like, I haven't spent a holiday inside or with a loving family, or, I don't remember a day in the past 10 years where I wasn't worried about, where I'm going to get my drugs, and if I didn't have them, I was mentally screwed. And if it wasn't for heroin, I wouldn't be able to make it through, the fact that my mom and dad are heroin addicts right now, and that, I don't have that loving family or support from anybody. So it's like heroin is my best friend.
So what all have you lost due to your addiction?
It's hard to say what I lost, but it's a lot easier to say what I didn't gain. Like, I don't have a single day as an adult thinking that drugs aren't what I should be doing. Since you started using at 12, like, I don't know what it's like to be an adult. You know, I don't know what it's like to live a life and not believe that I have to start and end my day with drug use.
Why are you out here, you know, instead of in the shelter? Because I see you're in a tough spot right now.
Yeah. Well, it's mainly because, like, if I go to the shelter, I can't use the drugs, and I'm afraid right now. Like, I checked myself into rehab over 20-something times, but I haven't gone to rehab in a little while now because I'm so afraid of the withdrawal. Ever since the xylazine and stuff, it's like the onset of the withdrawal is so much quicker, and you know, the only place I can find the combination of drugs I need is here in Kensington. I'm not originally from Philadelphia. I'm from outside of the city, but I moved here because drugs are cheap and readily accessible.
Yeah. When you look at yourself in the mirror now, what do you see?
Man, I see something I never should have became, or I see like I used to be proud of who I was, or like I used to think highly of myself, and it's just, I know I'm in there somewhere, but it's not who I see when I look in the mirror. You know, like I said, growing up, everything was cool. Like, my parents were all right, and like, as an addict, like they provided and did everything they could for me and my sister. But you know, life was always, I always needed something. Like, it was never like, I was never content. I don't know why or what that was, but yeah. I don't know if it was like, it was what I saw in my parents, that like, every time something made life worth living, it was like drugs were always there too. And the absence of drugs is something that scares me.
Do you suffer from any abscess?
Yeah, I had 4 surgeries on my arms in the past 2 years. I've been shooting for 12. So it's literally been since the xylazine stuff has happened. But you see, both my hands are bandaged now because I have an abscess here, I have an abscess here. Like, that's been there for probably 2 months now, and you know, it's actually going away. So it was 10 times worse than it is now.
Yeah.
I have, this scar goes all the way up my arm. It was like 30 stitches. I had 2 surgeries here, 1 surgery here. There was a surgery that was in there. That was an abscess. Like, I mean, they're all over. And the sad thing is that you don't even have to shoot drugs right now to get abscess. I hear a bunch of different things from a bunch of different people, but they say there's like meat tenderizer that they use to cut the drugs, and that can cause an abscess even if you snort it. It's like there's a bacteria in it that just wants to come out of your body anyway, like any pore or anything. So everybody's getting abscesses right now. It's like the drugs are really deteriorating our bodies. Like, it went from, like I said, heroin, which was illegal and had whatever, you know, downfall from its use, to what we have now, which is actually, the xylazine and stuff is actually legal, but you know, it's just being misused because it's not supposed to be used by humans. But what I'm getting at is they made drugs illegal, and that didn't stop people from using them. That made people look at how they could get around the law, and by getting around the law, they actually made drugs more dangerous. So more people are dying right now because you know, they made the original drug, heroin, illegal. And that's a whole nother thing. But you know, I don't think drugs need to be illegal. I think, you know, it's not what you do in life, it's how you do it. And because of that, a lot of people are dying in vain.
So, okay, we about to wrap up the interview. I just want to ask you, what do you need to get you off drugs and stay off drugs? What do you need done for you?
I think what I need is, like, I just need, like, to feel that love and attention that I had when I was a kid. Now, it didn't start off like that. It's just now that I'm so deeply, like, alone, you feel like if you don't have something or someone to look forward to, what is the point? You know? And I know that I should love myself, and I do, but, you know, nobody wants to be alone. And I think that's mainly my biggest problem right now is I feel like if I had somebody or something in life look forward to and to live for, then I think that it would be much easier for me to do this for them, because it's so easy to hurt myself. But when I see myself hurting somebody else or somebody that loves me, that's when I really like want to change.
Right. What does life mean to you?
Right now, the meaning behind my life, or to life period, is really like confusing, and I think everybody in life has to go through something to like really find out who they are. And as much as this has been a struggle, I think the meaning of my life was to go through something like this so I could help somebody else before they ever have to suffer like I did.
Right, right. What do you want the world to know about you?
You know, if something were to happen to me today, and you know, I would want the world to know that me and people like me are not bad people. We're just in a bad place, and you know, if you just took the time to get to know people sometimes, maybe that's all that they really needed to know that they were worth it for themselves. You know, society put this big view on drug addicts as like bad people. No, we're not. You know, drug addicts are actually some of the most compassionate, like loving people. It's just that we're put in bad places, and you know, sometimes we have to survive, and that doesn't look that good in society's eyes sometimes.
Right, right.
I just want people to know that me and people like me, we're not bad people. You know, we just need help, and if you just take the time to see that, like, you'd really be surprised who's out here.
Right. If your friends or your family see this video, what message would you like to send to them?
I'd like for them just to know that, like, I never neglected, you know, any of my duties as a friend or a family member because I didn't care about anybody. It was just like I got lost, and I was young when I started this, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Had I known then what I know now, you know, I would have showed a lot more love and affection to the people that I should have.
Right, right. If you had a message to send to the world, what would your message be?
You never know what anybody's going through in life, so don't judge people, or it's hard not to judge people. I think the biggest thing I should say is don't judge people and make them suffer for your judgment. You know, everybody has views on things in life. Don't pass your view on to others. Let people like make their own view of what they see and how they feel about it.
All right, brother. So I really appreciate you. We about to wrap things up, man. What's your zodiac sign?
Aquarius.
Yo, shout out to the Aquarius. What are some of your favorite foods?
Tacos, pizza, cheeseburgers, like fast food. But I love everything.
Awesome, awesome. Now this one would be, what are your short-term goals?
Short-term goals would be seriously, honestly, short-term goals: get some heroin and fentanyl. But in reality, like if I wasn't a drug addict, I'd say I would like to go back to school. Get my GED was one of my first accomplishments, but I'd like to go look at some type of career for myself.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we wish you all the best, brother, and I'm going to stay connected with you.
Oh, yeah.
I got a tent for you because I'm sad.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sad you had to be in this situation, man. Seeing you like this is really heartbreaking. But yeah, you get a brand new tent.
Thank you so much, my man.
Because I'm saying the situation is heartbreaking, man. You deserve to be in an apartment. Yeah, so go in this bag. This is from the AML family. You can take whatever you want in there, okay, brother?
Okay, my man. Thank you very much.
We in this together, man. And you educated us a whole lot.
We all need help. Oh, what, dude? Something to eat? That's awesome, my man.
Brother. We in this together.
Dude, I don't want to be...
Got some socks. Hey, brother.
Oh, you got socks in here?
Yeah, we got socks in there digging.
My man.
Yeah,
My
help
man,
yourself
they got
out.
some of these band-aids.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, that's just what it's all about.
Dude, you're awesome, dude. You have no idea how much this helps me.
It's the AML family. God bless.
Oh, God bless AML family. Thank you
Right.
so much.
Teamwork makes the dream work, you know?
Absolutely, you know what I mean? And listen, it's hard to go through things in life, but it does define you. It makes you who you are. And, you know, only through, like, prevalence in life can you really, like, learn what life is about. Because
Right.
it's hard. It really is. But it don't get any easier unless you stand up for yourself.
Facts. Ain't that the truth?
Tell me if you
Yeah.